Aloha and welcome back, everyone. This is Merissa Indigo with Divine DNA Blueprint, tuning in for our November energy report of 2022. Well, it has been quite an exciting month, as I'm sure you all are experiencing. We had the eclipse October 25th, and then the next eclipse November 8th, and then the 11/11. So we have been in the space of being present with all of it, sitting with all the energy. And in truth, there's just so much to share about what we are all experiencing, feeling, and seeing, that it's taken a while to be able to name all of it. So initially at the end of October, what was coming through was the Hall of Mirrors for November for our energy report. And the visual that we see is the 11, of course, but also seeing that 11 as these parallel realities. So you could have one line above you, one line below you, or be in the middle of both of them. And so really the strong message is that of the Hall of Mirrors and the sacred mirror, and how much of an impact the new frequency is having through us, meaning that we get what we put in. There's going to be, and has been, and will continue to be for the next few months until February, when we have some major planetary movement in February. The next few months are an intensive period of internal review, introspection, and really being confronted with our creation, meaning anywhere that we were unconscious, anywhere we held belief systems or old programs or loops in any aspects of our life, our human experience here, spiritual beings having a human experience. So that mirror, the Hall of Mirrors, it is an infinite portal, and there's these visuals again of parallel realities, parallel timelines, and also the equal sign when we think about, okay, is everything balanced? And you want to start to really look through the golden figure 8 and the golden mean, the golden ratio, the golden Christed crystalline energies as kind of a sieve or a filter to place everything through that. Qualify everything, really looking at, is this balanced? So an exercise that you can do to kind of ground all of this, because it's such a huge quantum holographic equation that we are looking through, but it can be quite simple. So just inviting you, if you'd like to get a piece of paper or your journal, and there are the 4 main categories to kind of start to organize life and really start to merge. So there's a convergence happening with those parallel lines with the 11, so that we can converge and have a cohesion between higher self and lower self, or if you want to say angelic self and material plane, essentially unifying with all the aspects of the self here and now. If you want to get a piece of paper, the 4 categories to start to look at a holistic pie chart, if you will, of your reality and of your creations and where you can make adjustments. Okay, so we have health, wealth, career, and relationships. So you could start with those 4 kind of bullet points to start to very deeply investigate. This is a huge time of really looking at the details, being the kind of etheric shamanic detective of your life and seeing where things are out of balance. The planets are very much supporting this. Uranus is bringing in like genius innovation and higher God consciousness to kind of start to provide an ease, a higher sight of how to do everything. And the how actually is the work of the grand cosmic computer, the quantum holographic computer, and we are the programmers. So when we say that this time period may be confrontational, many are going through, periods of grief and just different layers of seeing like, oh my gosh, I've been doing this unconscious. And we really want to stress not to have judgment towards yourself. Exercise compassion. Unconsciousness is not intentional. It's a frequency. It's a state of consciousness. So now we have the information. So now we're going to rewrite. And it's a beautiful time to rewrite your own story. So you want to acknowledge the past life, which is now completing, the cycles that are now completing, the new that are coming in. So you want to look at those 4 categories of your life and really expand each one of them. These are all multidimensional topics. So when we talk about relationships, for instance, well, the first layer of that could be, interpersonal relationships, but also relationship to self really is the first first piece. We are meeting ourselves for the first time. And that guidebook, the compass guidebook navigation guide to support you finding your true north and strengthening your connection to calibrating your life path to your soul's path, that ebook is to support you in meeting the true self. So that's a free download. It's in the description box. It takes you to my mystery school site. You just sign up to join the community and download it. So we're building a new relationship to ourself, our true, authentic self, without any of the social conditioning or ancestral trauma, any of that. It's a very beautiful, pure, and simplified version of who we are. Relationships would include relationship to self. How am I treating myself? Am I treating myself with that gold standard of how I treat other people? And with that, there's a equalizer. Again, that big symbol of the equal symbol coming from the 11 is, at this time, we must match the energy output. Meaning that as much energy as you're putting out into the external world and reality and everything, you've got to give that to yourself. So we have to maintain a full battery. This has to do with our light core and having this fully charged light battery for our light body to have optimum functioning. We can start to tell when we're dwindling and our battery is low based on your frequency, how you feel. Your attitude might change. You may regress into negativity or just feeling any lack or victim consciousness. It's okay. Just letting you see, oh yeah, I just regressed a little bit. We don't even like to use the word regress, but we are flip-flopping right now between those parallel realities. And so what we're working to do is to systemize and to really focus and stabilize ourselves with ourselves in the inner sanctum as the eye of the needle, as a lighthouse, to then converge the timelines into now. The highest timeline is here now. We just have to line up with it. We have to sync up with it. So your frequency is really important. Having a high frequency arranges all of your magnetics. So how you have this high frequency is part of the self-care. Also the Tai Chi Gong. I mentioned the Tai Chi Gong. That has been such a game changer because we are starting to really see how much we're energy beings here. And it's really exciting because we're also starting to see how less physical and energetic effort. I mean, we, in the linear way, in the old paradigm way of the 3D matrix, we made everything so hard on ourselves. Instead of just, A to B to C, we would zigzag all around and inside out and upside down, doing backflips and all of this to try to get to a goal, going all around the goal, rather than just bending time and arriving at the goal through the power of the mind. And that's because we had scattered energy. So again, there's no shame in it. There's no judgment or anything like that. It's just we're learning now as we're coming into unity. We're stepping into the fields of oneness, the fields of unity. Consciousness is a unified being with ourselves, inside of ourselves. And this is starting to then sync up everything else in the external reality. So relationship to self is paramount. And then on another layer of that, well, what is our relationship to food? What is our relationship to ourself when we bring other people in now? This starts to come into speaking our truth and holding boundaries and not negating our own needs for the sake of others, or not changing who we are and what we authentically are or need to express based on someone else. And so we see this a lot with relationships like marriages and stuff like that, where each person is learning who they are and learning how to voice their needs with love. And it's beautiful. There's a lot of compassionate communication coming up. We're learning so much, remembering so much about living a sacred community kind of life. So this is a confrontational energy because we are starting to see again the errors of our ways when we were unconscious, when we were separate. No worries. We know we're not separate now. So you could use this as like a pie chart with these 4 categories to kind of start to analyze and look and see, okay, well, where could I give more to this and that? The other thing is when we talk about that equalizer, the hall of mirrors, as much energy as you put out, that's how much you have to give to yourself. In self-care, in time with nature, all going back into aligning with your higher self and raising your frequency so that you can hold and maintain your highest timeline and continue to attract that. It's all magnetics and it's all up to us. So yes, it can be confrontational because we see like, oh my gosh, yes, I have a lot to do, quote unquote, but really we don't have a lot to do. We have to simplify and be. And with that comes the initiations of trust. Because when we start to see, oh my goodness, if I have to give 50% to building my reality in the external, meaning with my relationships, jobs, obligations, work, what have you, housekeeping, all the external things that go into living here in the human life. And then you have to take 50% and put it within. Then we start to see how different it was in the old paradigm, where it was much more of a slavery kind of system. We were giving everything to the outside world and nothing to inside, and getting burnt out, fried, tired, maybe depressed from that, not having enough light. So when we start to see how much it takes and how really it's actually going to start transforming from 50% internal to about 75% internal, as we become more comfortable navigating as an energy being, realizing that there's less external activity or physical activity needed to build our realities. It's actually all energy. So that's what we mean when we say before we would go all around and like a spaghetti bowl to try to get to our goals, because we were trying to go the linear way, which has a very limited scope of perspective and understanding, instead of an energetic or unified way. When we only have one piece of the puzzle, it's very different than when we start reflecting on all of the pieces. So this next few month period, starting with the 11/11, is a very introspective time to really get familiar and build your relationship to yourself and start to really dream awake your ideal reality. What does it look like? What does it feel like? How do you feel with others? How do you feel with yourself? And it can be as basic to start as, when I go to bed and I wake up, I feel so refreshed. I'm so thankful. It can be really basic, but the gratitude piece is going to support us immensely in building the light core. We are in the process of landing on New Earth. In truth, New Earth, we've been in it for a few years now, but everyone still had echoes. We're still reeling from the shock waves of the old paradigm and feeling almost like earthquakes inside, that reverb through us, through our being, of everything we had been through, like choppy waters. And so it's this process of reviewing and starting to calm those waters and just be with ourselves. It's a great simplification, free from external noise and distraction, manipulation. And so you see there's a rift. The rift is becoming more and more obvious between the old paradigm and the new paradigm. So this theme of landing on New Earth and building your light core and building a new firmament on New Earth, these are all wonderful topics that I'm really excited to continue to expand upon with you all. And it starts with the self-care piece, because it's through the body. The body is the earth. The body is made of earth. It is a gift of Sophia Gaia. We are her in the body, in the physical form. So we have the unique experience of being a material creation animated by the divine, animated by divine consciousness. So at this time, it's very important to remember that you are a unique individuation of infinite intelligence, and you are never separate from it. That is an illusion. We're just remembering that we are never separate. So you just remind yourself, wait, I'm connected. What does that feel like? Let me tune into that connection. Let me start to build that framework in my neurology, in my light body, in my heart. I'm going to be going even more deeply onto this topic of landing in New Earth and how to arrive in our body, in our Merkaba light ship with John Burgos. I'm so excited. I'm going to be on the Beyond the Ordinary show on November 30th. If you'd like to join us, I'm going to leave a link in the description box so you can sign up. And that will be, I believe, 5 or 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Wednesday, November 30th. So that's going to be really fun. We're going to be talking all about landing on New Earth. I'm going to be sharing all of the different experiences that have come through and systems that have come through to support your process. So this is the gist of it that I've shared here today, just to get you started. And I look forward to seeing you there for that discussion. It's going to be so much fun. In the meantime, remember the 4 categories and really start to work with them, because this is your reality. You are the creator. You get to write the script. You are the set builder and designer, the costume designer, the writer and the producer, and you're also the star of the show. So you get to start calling the shots. And of course, with this sacred mirror, this confrontational energy, we are in the 0 point. So anything that's not aligned with your highest is going to show up. It's going to show up right in your face. And that's great. Just look at it as information. When we come from separation, when we meet obstacles or different things like this, it can feel unpleasant and it can kick off our victimization of like, oh, why do these things always happen to me? So that's okay. We are entraining ourselves out of trauma patterning, right? We're coming out of the limbic brain and we're essentially like pumping the vagus nerve to liberate it from all these trauma patterns. And we're coming into the higher mind. So now when we feel confronted with our creations or any unconsciousness, and you'll feel it. It won't feel pleasant. You can look at it as information now. I mean, energy is a tool. Energy is information. It's not personal. So we're starting to depersonalize the feedback and the biofeedback that we're getting from our universe as we're creating. And we're going to start to see, oh, it's a harmonic or it's a non-harmonic. It's a harmonic or it's a discord, and starting to only look at it as information. And that's how we start to transition from separation to unity consciousness. You'll feel that contrast, like, oh, I'm in my separation because I'm taking this information and letting it weigh me down, pull me off, maybe make me upset, versus, oh, thank you so much for this feedback. I will tweak this little thing here. I will shift this. So we're starting to really get into this wonderful unified state as life is the most incredible, magical, miracle-filled experiment here, because we came to play in this amazing time, on-time ship Earth, as conscious creators with an energy and a reality that is energy-based, that is malleable like clay. So it's time. This is a huge time for mastery, a huge time for self-reflection and using the sacred mirror. I thank you so much for joining me. I wish you an amazing November. It's going to continue to amplify as we're getting ready now for 10 years, right? This winter solstice, 10 years since 2012. I'm going to be offering a lot of special stuff for that as well. Very excited about that. And hope to see you on John Burgos's show. It's going to be so much fun to have this discussion. So thank you again so much for tuning in. And I am available for sessions if you need further support. All of the details will be in the description box below, as well as offerings on the Mystery School. And I will see you soon. Just wishing you the most amazing experience. And just remember, you are an aspect of infinite intelligence. The separation was the lie, and now we're remembering. And you can hold this magical truth in your heart and let it bloom every day. Just sending you so many blessings. I appreciate you so much, and I'll talk to you soon.